And welcome inside Reed Arena here in College Station, Texas. A battle of top 25 teams. Number 24, Texas A&M hosting 16th ranked Baylor. Glad you could join us tonight. And we are underway. The opening tip controlled by Texas A&M. The Aggies dressed in the white unis. Baylor in green with Chris Spatola. For Duke assistant, I am Roy Philpott.
And Baylor, Roy, starting in a man-to-man, and Texas A&M goes right to work. They get Daniel House going. He has struggled of late. Good to get a bucket right at the rim to start.
One of the things we talked about with Billy Kennedy this week, trying to find a way to get his star, a preseason all-conference performer, going. Get him going somehow, some way. That's a way to do it.
Well, no better way than a layup.
Rico gathers, has his pocket picked by Collins. Ahead to Jalen Jones, making his third start of the season.
They can score quickly and in bunches, can't Texas A&M. Baylor's been so good with their half-court defense, but of course in transition, you can score layups. You don't have to face that half-court D.
Aggies at a man-to-man. Baylor coming in at 8-1. And Taurean Prince rises, is short. Jones the board. Texas A&M at 8-2. And an opportunity for a resume-building victory tonight for one of these teams. Collins, the USF transfer for three, and what a start for the Aggies.
The plan for Baylor was to go under those wing ball screens. Collins not an accomplished shooter, but he shot that one with confidence when the defender went under.
90 seconds in, Texas A&M leads by 7. Wainwright. 4 to shoot. Medford in the paint. The up and under too strong. Baylor out of sync offensively to start. Texas A&M outstanding defensively.
Well, it's like they've taken a B-12 shot before they got on the floor. I mean, not only the defense, but the transition from their defense to offense has been outstanding in the first 2 minutes.
Aggies' last contest a week ago against Kansas State, another Big 12 foe. Collins for three, back iron. House saves it, and it remains with the Aggies.
How about the juice that Daniel House has come up with? Again, an all-SEC player, his first team all-SEC last year, has really struggled from the floor. We talked to Billy Kennedy about Daniel House, said putting a little bit of pressure on himself. I think shot selection has a lot to do with his struggles, but he is a talent.
Here's a steal by Medford. Lester Medford can't connect. House again, saves it. Texas A&M basketball.
And Billy Kennedy also said he has struggled because he has not practiced well. But Daniel House had his best week of practice from that Kansas State win a week ago to this big game tonight.
And this is a very big tilt, Chris, when you think about postseason play, March Madness. To get a win this evening against a ranked opponent in non-conference play would be huge for both squads. Freeman. They'll whip it around. Here's Medford, the floater. That's what he does best.
He's been so good. Stepping in at that point guard spot for Kenny Cherry has Lester Medford.
And ahead to Caruso, draws the contact. And Alex Caruso to shoot a pair.
Well, we've already seen the philosophy, Roy. Makes or misses, Texas A&M is going to push and probe that rim early. They get this out right off the made shot by Medford. A good little floater. Texas A&M right back in the other direction. And again, Baylor, the last 2 possessions, has gone to that zone, which they're so good at. Chance to score early. You don't have to face that half-court defense.
Caruso 85% from the stripe this season. The foul win against Wainwright is first. And Caruso's done a remarkable job in the early part of non-conference play, transitioning from the point guard over to the shooting guard spot with the addition of Anthony Collins from USF. Collins led the American Athletic Conference in assists a year ago, graduated, wants to make a deep run of the tournament here. He's taken over the starting point guard spot and done a remarkable job too. Medford 6 on the shot clock's got to hurry. Outside, Wainwright. Shot clock violation, and the Aggies defensively in control.
Well, they're denying Taurean Prince. It has started with that. Daniel House, not only Texas A&M's best offensive player, he's their best perimeter defender, tasked tonight with trying to stop Taurean Prince, and he has denied the basketball to him in the early going here.
Wild day of college basketball. We've already seen 4 upsets inside the top 10.
And here the zone.
And House trying to bust the zone wide open inside to Jones.
And that's what Alex Caruso does. He's a throwback kind of player. He's terrific defensively, but there, just a winning play to tip it to his teammate.
Well, the vision really stands out with Caruso, doesn't it?
He is. He's a throwback.
And here's House with the jam. And listen to this crowd on their feet in Aggie land.
Wow.
Timeout on the floor. Baylor.
I mean, look at this. From one end to the other with the flush and the harm.
What a start for the Texas A&M Aggies. There's a look at the Bush Presidential Library. Just a couple of blocks away from Reed Arena, 13-2. With Chris Patola, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. And in case you missed it, how about a Sports Center top 10 nominee right out of the gate?
And we talked about the defense, just denying Taurean Prince. Daniel House, a good offensive player, but an elite defender with size. And there he shows you the athleticism.
And Chris, he wants to shoot it from distance, and you get him going early with a couple of early layup attempts, which he's connected on, obviously. That could mean everything.
It's amazing, Roy, how a coach has a feel for his player, right? I mean, Billy Kennedy had a gleam in his eye. He said, Daniel House is going to play great tonight. He had a great week of practice.
Here comes trapping, three-quarter court pressure by the Aggies. Baylor just 1 loss this season. Came against nationally ranked Oregon. Medford inside and high off the glass, spins it home. That'll quiet the crowd momentarily. Great atmosphere here for a mid-December tilt. Collins. Baylor back in the zone, and there's a turnover. Prince comes up with a steal. Taurean Prince scored 30 last weekend in a victory against Vanderbilt. This guy can go off at any point in time. That's 30 in green. Make that 21 in green. Gathers down low. And the double-double machine is hacked, attacking the rim.
Rico Gathers looks like a linebacker. You are taking your life in your own hands, coming from the weak side to make a play on Rico Gathers. But Texas A&M spent a lot of time on that ball screen today, really concerned with those ball handlers coming off. There they hit the roll man Gathers, and he gets himself to the foul line.
71% from the stripe this year, 6'8", 275, and he is every pound of it.
Better bring a couple pork chops tonight, because there is some meat underneath from both of these teams.
29 career double-doubles, 10 points away from 1,000. Misses 2 here. Now the Aggies haven't played in a week, but the wake-up call apparently was not made to the Baylor Bears so far. Jones, Davis, well, the bigs passing down low, Chris.
It's great when your big guys can share the ball with one another, but moving it against the zone is critical. Moving it before the defense has time to shift.
More than 200 meetings between these two teams going back nearly 100 years. Just the 3rd time both squads have been ranked playing against each other tonight. McClure for 3. Motley the board and puts it in. Nicely done. Here's our first look at Scott Drew in his 13th season in Waco. His team made the Sweet 16 3 the last 4 years. 7 20-win campaigns, and really has turned around the fortunes of this Baylor basketball program.
Well, he has. I mean, they're a consistent performer in that NCAA tournament. Has done a terrific job, comes from great stock, obviously.
Ten-point lead for Texas A&M, just over 5 minutes in here in College Station. House from 27, why not?
Yeah, he's the one perimeter guy who can beat the zone over the top. House, a terrific perimeter shooter. Baylor has played about 65% of man-to-man this season, known mostly for their zone. Billy Kennedy expected to see a lot of that today.
Down low to Gathers, attacking the rim aggressively once again. Will draw the foul as Miller picks up his first and the second team foul. Billy Kennedy, year number 5 here in College Station. Trying to get the Aggies back to the big dance this season. Has done a remarkable job on the recruiting trails in recent years. Very aggressive, finding success, bringing in a top 10 class, according to ESPN a season ago, and there's an air ball by Gathers.
That's never good for the ego, the air ball of the free throw, especially on the road. I wouldn't mess with him too long, though. Look at those arms. My goodness.
Built like a defensive end. 0 for 4 now at the stripe. Rebound by Gilder. And right now, Texas A&M clicking on all cylinders.
But you know what they are, Roy? They're the aggressors. I mean, they came out to throw a punch early in this game. The question is, can Baylor get up off of the mat and be who they are? An outstanding offensive rebounding team, an athletic team. They haven't really had a chance to show that in these first several minutes.
Bears have been dominant in this series in recent years. They've won the last 6. Jones lost the handle. And here come the Bears. Our first looks at Al Freeman, averaging over 13 points per game, and hack from behind on the perimeter. Jalen Jones picks up his first personal. Monday, the most wonderful time of the year, continues with the Miami Beach Bowl at 2:30 Eastern on ESPN. Running back Marlon Mack leads 8-4 South Florida against quarterback Brandon Dowdy and the 11-2 Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Game is also streaming live on Watch ESPN. A great time of year indeed. You've got postseason for college football, non-conference play in college basketball. So many great games on the ESPN networks. Lead is 13 for Texas A&M. Wainwright for 3. And that'll get Baylor back in it in a hurry if he can heat up.
It sure can. You know, Torian Prince, their best player on the bench, trying to find some production from other guys. A big shot there from Wainwright.
Back to the zone. House already with 8. Gets it baseline. Well, he wanted to shoot that one. 10 on the shot clock. An open look here. Daniel House with 11.
This is a guy shooting 31% from three-point range so far this season. And we talked about shot selection. That is a good shot because he has seen 2 or 3 right at the rim go in. It's amazing how shooters start to feel it.
Oh, Motley with a sky hook in the paint. You don't see that every day.
What a tough shot. Of course, Jonathan Motley had a monster game against Texas A&M last year. Was a starter coming off the bench this season.
Baylor's played more man-to-man defense this year. Billy Kennedy estimated at 65% coming in. Seen a lot of zones so far. We'll see if the Bears stick with it.
How about the offensive rebounding from Texas A&M? Giving Baylor a little taste of their own medicine.
Trocha Morelos just checked in. And a contact under the rim. It'll be the Aggies shooting free throws when we come back. Texas A&M out in front, 22-11, under 12 to play in the first. College Station, you're watching the SEC on ESPN here inside of Reed Arena. Chris Patola, Roy Philpott courtside, and Daniel House the man of the moment. 11 points, 4 rebounds, Chris, and already 4 of 5 from the field out of an early season shooting slump.
Oh, he got a layup and he got a dunk to start the game. Here was the layup, just a nice little slice cut to the basket. Here's the steal that leads to the dunk. It's amazing how that basket starts to widen and you can start to knock shots down like this. A guy who has struggled from the perimeter. You get 2 layups to start the game and he starts to get it flowing. I love Daniel House. He's got great size at 6'7". He plays hard and he's a senior.
Aggies 8 for 11 to start. I'm no mathematician. That's about 73%. That's pretty good.
That's unbelievable. And they needed it. You know, look, talent is talent, and eventually it starts to come back to the mean. A guy who just needed to, I think, figure out some shot selection issues and then get back to being a practice player.
Trocha Morelos at the stripe, 63% this season. Misses the first of 2. Rico Gathers on the bench momentarily. Lead remains 11. Prince the board. The Big 12 so deep this year, Baylor figures to factor in at some point. Prince, the turnaround, traveled first.
And Prince, a guy who they're just trying to do a little bit too much. He had Caruso, the smaller player, on him, and Prince, a guy with his size, can score in a lot of different ways.
And we mentioned the 30 points against Vanderbilt last weekend. A lot of scouts like him at the next level. Here's our first look at DJ Hogue. 35th in the ESPN 100 a season ago. Scouts love his length and athleticism and shooting ability. Caruso. The up and under. Too strong, out of bounds to the Bears.
The first thing you notice about Texas A&M is the depth. Last year, their lack of depth really hurt them. This year, they've added talent, versatility, and size, which in a game like this is huge.
Bubble team a year ago. Billy Kennedy hoping that a win tonight could be one of the difference makers come March of 2016. And the three-pointer by Freeman, his first basket, and a big one.
Yeah, really the one perimeter shooter that they have. Freeman early in the season led Baylor in scoring.
Gilder, a strong move, can't connect, gets it back off the glass. Another one of those talented freshmen.
And the offensive rebounding, Roy, has been unbelievable for Texas A&M. Second and third shots in a game where we thought Baylor would be dominating that category.
Lead is back to 10 for the Aggies. Prince in the paint. Motley can't convert. Trocha Morelos the board.
Motley had a shot from that short corner, just didn't feel comfortable.
What a Saturday in college basketball. 4 upsets. Caruso with the slam.
And another nice find. Texas A&M sharing the basketball and outworking Baylor in this first half.
The Aggies on fire. Motley down low, short. Outstanding defense once again, and here comes Caruso. Ten minutes of play in a fast-moving first half. Tip in. And the Aggies again, that time Tavario Miller.
Another offensive rebound. Guys are just getting free runs. It doesn't matter what defense Baylor is in. Texas A&M, they're big guys, 2-3 guys going right at that offensive backboard. There, Tavario Miller, just another one of those guys coming off the bench to provide energy and size, gets the tip in.
Scott Drew will utilize his second timeout. You talk about the offensive rebounds. A year ago, Texas A&M did not record one single rebound on the offensive glass. And tonight, it's been a different story.
It sure has. I mean, look, just a nice play at the rim on a good delivery. I mean, they were outscored 18-1 on second chance points in that game last year. And part of it was they had to play Jalen Jones at that 5. He's now at the 4. Tyler Davis, the freshman, has come in. So more depth inside in a game like this is big.
Certainly is. Chris Patola, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. A raucous atmosphere here in College Station. Well, they call this a football school. Tremendous showing tonight.
Well, it's Star Wars night. When you go with a theme of Star Wars, you will awaken the fan base.
The Aggies strike back, my friend.
We could do this all night.
Be careful. Prince down low. In traffic. And he'll shoot 2 free throws. That last foul went against Gilder, his first. And Caruso picks up the personal here.
Yeah, you talked about Prince. He's probably the best pro prospect in this game. He's a combo forward at 6'7", good size, can score on the post, as you saw there. Is a very good shooter, can put it on the floor. Just use him in a lot of different ways, does Scott Drew.
That's his first point of the night. Scott Drew, a Butler graduate, 13th season in Waco. What a remarkable job he has done. They're 16th in the country so far. As Prince connects on a pair, the lead is back to 12. Jones against Prince, what a matchup. And good defense gathers, corrals it. Jake Lindsey checks in for the first time. Too strong with the layup, gathers. Contests it. And finally pops out to Caruso. Inside to Jones, stripped. DJ Ho. And the Bears turn it over. Scott Drew can't believe it, Chris. I don't know if we can either. 31-16, Aggies 4 of 6 from bonus land. What a start.
Well, I mentioned Baylor was knocked to the mat right at the start of this game and still have not really gotten themselves up.
And the big surprise, the Aggies on the glass have been dominant. Back to the zone, Jones, an open look. Jalen Jones.
Well, they're going to have to, Baylor's going to have to do something about the perimeter shooting. You got to start to chase these guys off that line. Shooting cures a lot of ails, and Texas A&M right now is on fire.
And here comes the crowd once again. Lindsey inside. And a big basket there to break momentum for the time being.
A huge basket and a nice cut from Lindsey, a good pass from Gathers. But you can't be trading 2 for 3.
Lindsey, just a freshman out of Salt Lake City. His father, of course, the general manager for the Utah Jazz. Inside to Gilder. And here's a steal. King McClure.
Just a I mean, that's not a good decision.
And over the back, Aggies shooting free throws again. Gilder very aggressive.
Well, that's King McClure, the freshman, just not making a good decision there.
16-point lead, 7.5 to play in the first half here in College Station. Holiday Hoops presented by Kay Jewelers continues. A 16-point lead for Texas A&M, 7:31 remaining in our first half. And don't forget about the New Year's Six, 2 of the greatest days for college football fans. It all starts at noon Eastern, New Year's Eve on ESPN. Then at 4 and 8, playoff semifinal games between Oklahoma and Clemson, plus Michigan State and Alabama. Then on to New Year's Day, 3 more tremendous games to kick off 2016. All these games also streaming live on Watch ESPN.
Who you got, Roy? College football playoff.
I think the winner of the Clemson-Oklahoma game has got the inside track. I'm not sure that Bama or Michigan State can handle those spread offenses, Deshaun Watson or Baker Mayfield. That's my guess.
Seemed like decent analysis. Give me Bama. Give me Derrick Henry. Give him the ball 60 times and just run it.
Yeah, but it's so easy to go with the brand, isn't it? Heisman Trophy winner, Crimson Tide. They're going to be tough, no doubt. Aggies in the midst of a 14-4 run over the last 3:31. Lead has swelled to 18. Gathers down low. turns it over, and Baylor out of sync and clearly rattled.
And they're doubling Gathers on the catch from the strong side. Just out of sync with that perimeter player on the kick back out.
7 turnovers now for the Bears. These two schools separated by just 88 miles. Hogue for 3, draws the foul, and that was Lindsey. Well, a freshman mistake there against the freshman.
Well, think about the mistakes that we've had in the last 3 minutes. We have the inbounding error by Baylor. You have the ill-advised pass in the open floor by King McClure, another freshman, and then fouling a three-point shooter. I mean, you just can't, in a game like this where you're already down by that deficit on the road by a team that is really shooting the ball well, you cannot afford to give up three free throws.
One more free throw coming for Hogue. Now Freeman checks back in as Lindsey goes to the Baylor bench. Hogue 35th in the ESPN 100 a season ago. His final year in high school. Jones on the offensive glass. And Texas A&M owning the boards here in College Station.
Jones is a live wire, man. He is an active, hard-rocking dude, and that was example A.
Bears go to their motion offense. Medford against Collins. Baseline pass, King McClure. Back iron, Freeman collects. Brilliant split down low to Gathers. Where's that been all night?
They got to get him going. And Torian Prince only one shot.
Dish inside to Davis in the end. One opportunity. Freshman to freshman. You want to talk about talent? We're seeing it on display in a pair of first-year players.
Coming in and making an impact. DJ Hogue hit a 3 in the corner, got himself to the foul line for 3 free shots, and then this nice delivery to Davis. The help comes late by Freeman. And the big fella, the big freshman, finishes with the harm and gets himself to that line.
We mentioned Hogue, 35th in the ESPN 100. Davis was 27th in the ESPN 100. So you talk about increasing the talent and enhancing recruiting. Billy Kennedy certainly has done that now in his 5th season. Point lead. Prince has been quiet. And inside Motley. Could have traveled, but instead they'll call the foul. And they'll go against Hogue.
Well, Roy, Texas A&M has been very disruptive defensively. They've done a nice job when Baylor's caught it on the block, and they've done a nice job in ball screens. Baylor runs a lot of wing ball screens. Texas A&M has changed up their coverages, has been very disruptive.
Hogue with 4 points goes to the Aggies bench. Down low, Motley. And the physical player banks it in. Lead is back to 19.
Gathers and Motley last year in this game combined for 35 and 21. Carried this Baylor offense.
Jones making his 3rd start tonight. The fadeaway and feeling it. Well, he was suspended the first 4 games this year. Worked his way back into the starting lineup. Scored 25 a week ago in the win against Kansas State. Starts this one 5 for 6, Chris.
It all starts with his motor combined with his athleticism, but there shows you the face-up game as well.
Gathers at 6'8", would rather play down low. 10 on the shot clock. Medford. Well, silky smooth with that jumper. And the Bears starting to warm up offensively. They need a couple of stops before halftime. Jones a quick trigger. House keeps it alive, but right to Lindsey. And a foul on the floor is Lindsey. Trying to spot Medford open for the 3. That'll go against Anthony Collins.
We know Baylor can score in bunches. I mean, you know, they can certainly score in bunches. They're averaging 85 a game on the year. The problem is they've got to find that defense that has been their stalwart, be it in the man-to-man or the zone.
Lindsay, the backup point guard, is now 6 of 9 from the stripe this season. Prince on the bench for the Bears. He's been quiet so far in this first half. That's been a key for Texas A&M. If you're Baylor and you get to halftime, you get this lead maybe under 13 or 12, I think you'd feel pretty good, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, and you wouldn't expect, again, most things come back to the mean. You wouldn't expect Texas A&M to shoot it as well as they have in this first half.
House comes up short, gathers the board. An opportunity here for Baylor. To shoot. Medford way off. House clears. Well, that was brick.
It's not a good shot. I mean, you'll live with, if you're Billy Kennedy at Texas A&M, you'll live with that all game long. A contested pull-up 3 from Lester Medford.
Collins cuts open and rejected from behind by Motley with the whistle. 3:40 remaining in our first half. It's all Aggies. Texas A&M leads at 43-26. Thank you very much. Back in College Station, the lead is 17 for number 24 Texas A&M. Chris Spatola, Roy Philpott here courtside. And the big story, Daniel House. You look at the numbers, Chris, so impressive. Finding the basket, attacking the rim so far in this first half.
In a year of seniors, you have 2 seniors who have come into this game tonight, and Daniel House and Jalen Jones, and have sent a message in this first half. 3 seniors in that Texas A&M starting lineup right there, 6 total. I mean, both these teams, the 2 best players for Baylor, Rico Gathers and Torian Prince, both seniors. These teams are older teams.
It is the year of the senior. I like that. We're going to talk more about that later in this game as Collins connects on the first of 2. And Jalen Jones back to the bench. Well, Jones has been a spark plug since being deemed eligible after a 4-game suspension. It was dictated by the NCAA to start this season. Leads back to 19 under 4 to play.
And here A&M in the 1-2-2 3-quarter court, just keeping Baylor off balance. Been very disruptive defensively.
Skip past Lindsay. Well, fearless to Freeman. And Lindsay's side rim can't connect. Out to House. When House gets in the open court, you better look out.
Well, and how about the decision? Nothing there, no numbers, pulls it out, runs some offense, get a good look.
3 minutes remaining, first half. Trocha Morelos hammered at the rim, no whistle.
My goodness, I thought he got fouled.
Inside Caruso, the active leader, the NCAA in steals, comes up with another one here. And a foul inside will be called against Jonathan Motley. Tell me what you see here, Chris.
This is what the nice little play here. Trocha Morelos goes up. I mean, that's a foul. That's like, even under the old rules. I'm amazed he still has his left arm there.
And with Gathers coming down at 6'8", 275, he's going to feel that one tomorrow morning.
Come out of a play like that, missing a limb.
Tyler Davis with 4 points, averaging 11 this year, his first season out of Plano, Texas. Made 8 starts this year, and he's only going to get better. You look at his skill set, his footwork.
Well, he does. He has really good feet for his size and for his age. And the thing, again, for his age that you're amazed with, it is his IQ. You know, no indictment on most big guys, but Takes him a little bit longer to understand the game, to intuit the game. Tyler Davis right there.
Lead is 20. Lindsay outside. Prince for three. And Collins controls. It's been a helter-skelter start. Trocha Morelos the alley-oop. Well, he's been starting in place of Jones until this game. And here comes the crowd once again in a timeout for Scott Drew.
I got to tell you, Roy, Texas A&M has put on a clinic in this first half on both ends of the floor. They came out from the outset for a fist fight, and they have done it on both ends. Look at the delivery. Under control, you find the size and length at the rim. And Trocha Morelos, look at that, under control. Everybody looking at the basketball defensively. Nobody sees Morelos coming from behind. I mean, what a clinic in this first half from Texas A&M.
Aggies have 2 losses this year. One was to Syracuse, the other at Arizona State. Coming in at 8-2, ranked number 24. And Billy Kennedy's team was very close to the NCAA tournament a year ago, right there on the bubble. You see the 63% from the field. This is the kind of win that can get you in the dance come March.
Well, remember, Daniel House missed the final 4 games for them last year with a foot injury, and they really struggled after losing House, as you would expect.
Gathers with the offensive foul, clearly frustrated. That's been the theme here in the first 18 minutes.
Just faces him up, and that's an offensive foul. Trocha Morelos in good position, 2 feet, facing the defender on the floor.
Baylor's won its last 7 games. Has been red hot. Collins for 3, in and out. And Gathers controls a rebound. Bears have been hot. They've also won 6 in a row in this series. Surprising start. And Gathers inside. Nice wraparound layup.
Baylor has found a little bit of penetration here at the end of this half. Nice drop off by Lindsay. Instead of settling for those tough perimeter shots, which haven't gone down for Baylor, you like to see him probe the paint a little bit more.
Russo against Prince. We'll whip it around to Collins. 9 to shoot. Jones. And Prince controls a rebound. Approaching a minute to play. Aggies shooting 59% here in the first 19 minutes. And checking back in will be Gilder, freshman out of Dallas. Caruso goes to the bench. When you think about Caruso and Collins in the backcourt and their combined vision, they're averaging more than 11 assists per game. And you turn it over to a freshman like DJ Hogue or Gilder, another first-year player. Gathers inside, a strong finish, now with 6.
Well, he's going to keep trucking, is Rico Gathers. He's a senior, and he's a competitive guy. Somebody else in this Baylor team has to step up offensively, though.
Gathers leads Baylor in scoring and rebounds. House for 3. 14 points for Daniel House.
That's just feeling it. That's just coming off a screen, pulling up and feeling it. What a clinic in this first half. If you are just tuning in, you have missed a show that Texas A&M has put on.
Shot clock is off. 10 seconds remaining. Lindsay can't connect. And a turnaround by Gathers after the buzzer. What a first half by Texas A&M. 51-30 our score. We send you now to the Kay Jewelers halftime report. Here's Brendan Fitzgerald and Adrian Branch. On Star Wars night, back in College Station, the Aggies wanting to strike back, doing a tremendous job so far. Bring your own stormtrooper. Roy Philpott, Chris Spatola, glad you could join us Daniel House, boy, he was the emperor in that first half with what he was able to accomplish. The 14 points on fire from distance, and then Texas A&M, Chris, beasts on the board.
The force has awakened here at Texas A&M. We thought that Baylor were the ones cornering the market on offensive rebounds, but it was Texas A&M who just outworked Baylor in that first half. You see all the work. I mean, just keeping the ball alive, going up with vigor, finishing at the rim. There you see the tip. But it wasn't only just the offensive rebounds. I mean, the points off of turnovers. Baylor has 9 turnovers. Texas A&M 16 points off of those turnovers. They have 6 threes. I mean, both sides of the floor, Roy. Texas A&M dominant.
The force is strong with the Aggies.
I'm taking this mask home with me. It's a souvenir.
Start of the second half, Baylor trying to bounce back and trailing big. Bears with just 1 loss coming into tonight at 8-1. That was against nationally ranked Oregon earlier this year. And have since won 7 in a row. Texas A&M at 8-2. And a fast start is critical, obviously, Chris. Baylor's got to find a way to get something going.
Well, it doesn't help on the first possession of the second half when you gave up 16 points off of turnovers to turn the ball over on the first possession.
Here comes Texas A&M. Great passing. Caruso spins it home.
They have just sliced and diced this Baylor defense, and it has started with sharing the basketball. Guys cutting off of the ball and guys sharing it.
Torian Prince is very quiet in that first half. Wainwright in the paint, can't connect.
Look at this.
Oh, the house was ready to come down there from Daniel House.
An offensive rebound.
We mentioned this before. These two teams played last year. Texas A&M, as Jones works hard underneath. Texas A&M did not record a single offensive rebound in 40 minutes of action until they went back, watched the film, and then they changed the box score officially. They gave them 1. Tonight it's been an entirely different story. Caruso comes up with it.
You know, Roy, Texas A&M has had a week off since that Kansas State win, and some people may say rust. What I'm seeing here tonight is this is a well-rested Texas A&M team that has had a week to prepare for Baylor, and they have shown every bit of that preparation here tonight.
Are you surprised with what we've seen so far?
I am. I thought we'd have a fist fight. I thought it would go to the wire. But again, I mean, it was the first minute that Texas A&M put Baylor on the mat, and Baylor's never been able to recover.
And it was a 13-2 run right out of the gate. Foul against the Bears.
Because the thing is, Roy, Baylor has such a margin for error because of their offensive rebounding. They keep possessions alive, just haven't been able to do that tonight.
Scott Drew searching for answers. That foul goes against Prince, his second. Beautiful ball movement. House wide open. 17 for the senior.
Give Texas A&M a lot of credit, and they've been a step quicker than Baylor. They've knocked down open shots. They've shared the ball.
King McClure, one of the best high school shooters a year ago. Highly sought after prospect, is fouled baseline. Remember the ESPN 100. Talking to National Director of Recruiting Paul Biancardi earlier this week, he said he was in the gym when McClure went 11 of 14 from bonus land. They could use some of those threes right about now. And a timeout called. Nothing going right for the Bears. 18:05 remaining. Scott Drew back to the drawing board, trying to find something to ignite his team. Lead is 28 for the Aggies, trying to pull off another upset here at home. .8-point lead for Texas A&M back in College Station. We've already seen 4 upsets in the top 10 today in college basketball. Will there be another one tonight? And also, don't forget, 4 o'clock Eastern, New Year's Eve, the Capital One Orange Bowl as number 4 Oklahoma battles top-ranked Clemson. Then at 8 o'clock, it's number 3 Michigan State and Alabama in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. It truly is the most wonderful time of the year. All these games on ESPN and streaming live on the Watch ESPN app. And it can't get here soon enough. 4 teams in the field. Who will find a way to win the national championship? You already told me. Alabama.
Well, I already, after the Jimmy Kimmel commercials, I plugged it in about 2 months ago, that date into my calendar. I didn't know Kimmel had a voice.
Hey, it gets stuck in your head, doesn't it? 2 minutes into the second half, all Aggies. Chris Patola, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us tonight. 4th matchup of the day between ranked teams. Duke was upset by Utah in overtime. Purdue went down. Medford way off. Prince controls. Number 4, Kentucky lost to Ohio State, and Iowa State lost to Northern Iowa. How about Northern Iowa? 2 big upsets. The win over North Carolina earlier, and then now against Iowa State. First loss for the Cyclones.
Yeah, Ben Jacobson's done a nice job there. I wonder how long he'll be at Northern Iowa. Terrific coach.
After the miss by House, gathers the rebound. And Medford in traffic, swatted away by Davis, the freshman.
Kid Tyler Davis, 6'10", 265. We talked about how good his feet are. He was the first guy to sign in this class this year and really recruited these other guys. DJ Hogue, Admon Gilder. So he did a nice job.
Yeah, the philosophies for both of these schools really starting to change in recent years. More aggressive, finding more success on the recruiting trails. 10 to shoot. Baseline. The triple. Splash. Wainwright.
Wainwright, a Swiss Army knife guy for Baylor. Looking for more consistency out of him.
Davis, the turnaround, or the post up.
Over that left shoulder. He's going to be a talent, man. I don't know how long he'll be here at Texas A&M, but he is going to be a great college player.
Medford outside. Can't connect. Collins a rebound. 3-on-3. House. And fortunate to save that one to Caruso. Chaotic possession. 4-on-1 fast break. Prince up and under. Nicely done. Prince with just 4 points tonight. That's a story.
Oh, and credit Daniel House, because he really hasn't had many great looks. House has denied him the ball in the half court, made it tough for him.
Caruso against McClure, senior on freshman. Davis inside.
What a pass. I mean, Alex Caruso, he's not a guy going to fill the stat sheet in a mind-numbingly way, but he is a terrific passer. Here's Prince on one end. A nice finish. Going to need more of that, man.
Back in College Station, this is the SEC on ESPN. Chris Patola, Roy Philpott on hand. Here inside of Reed Arena, it is all Texas A&M. The Aggies, led by Daniel House, trying to build their resume. And a win tonight on Star Wars night certainly would help them do so. You look at the Joe Lunardi special here, Chris. Texas A&M already with a solid RPI. Baylor perhaps in more need of a victory this evening, but of course it's been all Aggies.
Yeah, well, Baylor hasn't played a great schedule. I mean, the 2 good teams on their schedule, they're one of 2. They did beat, they lost to Oregon early in the season, and so, you know, that's sort of reflective in the RPI. But both these teams are tournament teams, and both are 2 of the better teams in their conferences. Like you said, a game like tonight will help shape that narrative when you come to March and start talking tournament.
Billy Kennedy in his 5th season trying to get the Aggies back to the dance. Davis trying to complete the good old-fashioned 3-point play. And cannot. Gathers the board. A conference play against in less than 2 weeks. That's going to be here before you know it. These 2 teams trying to get a couple of more tune-ups in before league play begins. Of course, Texas A&M, the SEC, Baylor in the Big 12. Big 12 loaded this year. Gathers down low. And symbolic of Baylor's evening. 3 misses from point-blank range. And for Baylor's leading scorer, nothing doing. House. Davis has it stripped. Look at the hustle. And Wainwright will be fouled by Collins. Well, the USF transfer hits the deck. Hacks Wainwright. And checking back in for the Aggies, Tavario Miller, the junior. What's a nice blend of youth and experience with this Texas A&M team, as we've talked about so often tonight, Chris.
Well, it's interesting. 3 of the Texas A&M starters did not begin their careers in A&M uniforms. Anthony Collins, as you said, from South Florida, Daniel House from Houston, and Jalen Jones from SMU. All 3 transfers.
And 2 of those players, all Big 12 so far. Lindsey, the step back, too strong. Motley. And the putback finally will go against, will go in rather for Baylor, and the foul in the play as well.
That's who Baylor has been this season. That's who they were against Vanderbilt a week ago in that big win for them. And just playing volleyball up on the backboard, especially Gathers and Motley. Not enough of that tonight, but this is who Baylor is and who they will be for a large part of the season.
Second foul against Miller. Gathers stay at 8 points and 11 rebounds. Averages a double-double coming in at 15 and 11. It has not been his night. Jones back to work in traffic. Well, the outstanding body control at the rim.
And it starts again with the ball movement. The ball not sticking in one pair of hands, moving from guy to guy. I mean, just the ball movement tonight has been outstanding.
14 minutes remaining here in College Station. Well, we've seen Gathers a couple of times tonight. Talk to himself, talk to his teammates. Doing so there with Al Freeman, and he's clearly been frustrated.
Well, understandably.
Not necessarily a guy you want to anger.
No. Well, certainly not you and I.
Well, that goes without saying. Out of bounds. Aggies basketball. Texas A&M this season shooting 39% from three-point range. Tonight, 7 out of 14. Led by Daniel House with 17, including 4 of 7 from distance. Get a team with this kind of athleticism, this kind of experience shooting that well. They're going to be tough to beat. Jones can't convert. Freeman controls. Skip past Freeman. He's been quiet as well in traffic. And the three-footer comes up short.
You're not going to get a better shot than that. Like you said, 3 feet from the rim. Right in the wheelhouse of Al Freeman. Just can't get it to go. It's been that kind of a night for Baylor.
Bears with their trapping. Zone pressure. House has been red hot, but is off. Under 13 to play. Wainwright gets back to miss. And again, 3 misses in a row. 5 make it for the Bears. 6. And how many times tonight have we seen that kind of possession for Baylor? Point-blank opportunities coming up empty time after time after time again.
If you're Scott Drew, I mean, there's nothing you can draw up on a night like this. I mean, there's no play, there's no offense, there's no magic thing you can draw up on a board. The ability to finish, like you said, they've had looks, just haven't been able to capitalize here tonight. And the frustration has set in.
Gathers now with 2 personals, goes to the bench for a quick breather. Gilder. An offensive glass, Miller. Now Tavario Miller, the junior, has been a spark off the A&M bench. And a reminder, coming up Christmas Day, once you open presents, watch some basketball. Christmas Day tradition continues on ABC and ESPN with 5 of the best games you could hope for. All starts at noon Eastern on ESPN. All games also streaming live on Watch ESPN. Golden State and Cleveland. Steph Curry and the fast start for the Warriors this year. He has been out of this world once again, Chris.
Yes. I don't think anybody saw it coming. 2 years in a row, I don't think anybody saw it coming.
And he's making shooting in vogue once again.
Well, it's amazing how small the NBA game has skewed. I was watching the Pacers last night. Paul George playing the 4. A lot of teams going to these smaller lineups.
Of course, Cleveland getting Kyrie Irving back. That's going to be enormous. Cavs lost to the Warriors last year in the finals. Prince short again. Gilder the rebound. Miller was nearly tied up and fouled attacking the rim. 2 Aggies in double figures, 64-37 the score. Texas A&M in control, looking for a win against a ranked opponent. Back in College Station, Chris Spatola, Roy Philpott, glad you could join us. All Aggies here inside of Reed Arena, and Baylor really struggling to protect the basketball tonight, and Texas A&M is capitalizing so many different ways.
Well, they have. Texas A&M's a good team, and so if you're going to make mistakes like this, you're going to turn the ball over like they have, you're going to give up points off of those turnovers. 21 points off of turnovers for Texas A&M. It's been the story. And it has been frustrating, a frustrating sight for that guy right there, Scott Drew.
Drew's squad shooting just 18% from the floor to start this second half. That's 3 out of 17. And Miller 79% at the line this year. Rattles that one out. It's been a different year in college basketball. We've seen a lot of early upsets, as we talked about. 25 rule changes implemented by the NCAA. Directives to try to increase the flow of the game, freedom of movement, reducing physicality, especially down to the low post. And certainly paid some dividends, Chris, as you look at the numbers. Scoring is up, possessions also up.
Yeah. And the scoring up does not have a lot to do with the number of fouls being called, which is a good sign, means teams have adjusted. I think J.D. Collins has done a nice job, head of officials, got on top of it early, sent the message to the coaches and the teams, and has done a nice job adjusting.
10 on the shot clock for Collins, working against Medford. Ho, baseline. Texas A&M just a step quicker tonight, although Medford wins that battle. Bears won this matchup last season, 77-63 in Waco. Mentioned it earlier, won 6 straight in the series. That's certainly in jeopardy this evening.
Well, what's interesting, too, about those 6 games is they've been by a margin of 6 points on average. So, I mean, they've been tight games, but like games down to the wire, Baylor has been the team over the years to pull those out.
Harry Maston checks in for the first time for Baylor. That's 31 in green. His family that played at Temple and Texas Tech. Two of his uncles, in fact. Prince has it stripped. And then commits the foul. And that's going to be his 4th. Sixth man of the year last year in the Big 12. It has not been his night just 1 week after scoring 30 against Vanderbilt. Both teams scoreless here in the last 3+ minutes. Hogue, that's his shot.
Mario Miller, my goodness.
Miller's been a beast on the boards.
He's been all over the offensive glass.
Nearly halfway through the second half. Prince thought about it. And McClure gathers a rebound and quickly fouled.
Tavario Miller, the junior. I mean, he's really their 10th guy off of the Texas A&M bench, and the impact he has made on the offensive glass tonight has been big.
Miller picks up the personal and gets a nice hand from this Texas A&M crowd, which has been raucous at times tonight. Down low, Gilder the steal. The freshman. And Wainwright simply flings it into the backcourt where Collins is ready and waiting. Kind of helter-skelter these last couple of minutes, Chris. And there's finally a basket for Trocha Morelos.
Hasn't been a whole lot of resistance. I mean, on the other end, trying to feed the post again. How many times have we seen Texas A&M digging down, creating a turnover off an attempted post feed?
Medford draws the contact. Baylor now will be in the bonus from here on out. Medford with 6 points. 4 assists. He's done a remarkable job this year. Senior from Tucson, stepping into that starting point guard role after being a shooting guard last year with Cherry running the point was so electric so many times for the Bears.
Well, and think about the tradition Baylor's had at that spot. You got Pierre Jackson, Brady Heslip, go back to Tweety Carter in 2010. That position has been well filled at Baylor. So Lester Medford stepping into big shoes and has done a nice job.
Aggies remain in control. If you're just joining us, they jumped down to a 13-2 lead. There has been no looking back since. Collins. And the offensive glass, Trocha Morelos extends the possession. Lead is 27, under 9 to play. And a steal, Medford. Working against Collins. Hangs and finishes. Well, nicely done. A strong move towards the rim. And Medford now in double figures with 10. And Baylor's going to make a run. Now would be a good time to do it just to try to make this one respectable. For the miss by Trocha Morelos.
What a find by Tyler Davis, the freshman. We talked about his IQ. The post up, a nice feel, cross-court pass.
At this point, Billy Kennedy probably content to get some of his first-year players more playing time as a timeout is called.
And there hasn't been a drop-off. I mean, he's gone to that bench, and that bench has not dropped off at all. Medford's been good, but they've needed more of this. Easy stuff, well, not so easy, in transition. Coach Gaudio. He had Perry Ellis on there and Malcolm Brogdon. Can't go wrong with those two guys either.
Well, so many great senior players this year in the game, and certainly on the floor tonight we've seen that with Daniel House, Rico Gathers, of course. You talked about Taurean Prince, the senior, maybe the best NBA prospect on the floor.
Well, Roy, look, I always say, if your name is not Kentucky or even Duke, it pays to be old. I mean, look at these other guys. You can't go wrong this season. Marcus Page, Brogdon, Van Fleet. It is the year of the senior. You go down the top 5, and Michigan State, their best player, a senior. North Carolina, an old team. Iowa State, Oklahoma, all those teams are old. It pays to be old in college basketball.
Wainwright the 3. And Baylor back within 22. 7.5 to play. Ho. Can't answer. Out of bounds, and the foul called as Trocha Morelos gets hammered. And that'll go against Wainwright. His 4th. Well, you do like that about the sport this year, the fact that the focus isn't necessarily on so many one-and-doners. You've got players that have stuck with their programs. In some circumstances, they've transferred around a little bit, but and there's going to be star power come March with familiar names.
There's no question about it. It's one of the things with college basketball is the best players are going to the next level year after year. So if you have the opportunity to grow players in your program, like look at last year in the Final Four. I mean, Wisconsin, obviously, though all those guys stuck around, you got a team that's primed to win a national championship. Kentucky, one of the reasons they were so dominant during the regular season is guys like Willie Cauley-Stein, the Harrisons, stick around. You know, you get a team like, again, if you're not Kentucky or Duke who are getting the best freshmen coming in bulk, it pays to have an older dynamic.
House picks up the personal. Freeman at the stripe. Should be pointed out, too, you know, the transfer epidemic in college basketball is real. And we saw that earlier this week here in College Station. We're not talking about quarterbacks, by the way. Elijah Thomas, a freshman from Lancaster, Texas, highly touted and announcing his intentions to go elsewhere after really not getting a lot of playing time. We're talking to the Texas A&M coaching staff this morning. He actually stepped on a sea urchin back in the summer. Missed part of their trip overseas, then had a lower leg injury earlier this year, and so never really found a rhythm, and just said, you know what, I'm going to transfer. So it happens.
Well, that market's become just as important as the freshman market. I mean, Texas A&M, we said it earlier, 3 of their starters did not begin their careers at Texas A&M. Michigan State, they've got transfers. Iowa State, I mean, so that's another market. See Medford here attacking the basket, which he's done all night long.
Medford, another one of those seniors, 7 points, 4.5 assists per game. He has been dynamic for Baylor. Not nearly enough tonight.
He is fearless, though, is Medford, and that Vanderbilt win, 11 of his 15 points came in the last 8 minutes. So he's small, but he is fearless, especially late in the game.
I like the inclusion of House on your super senior list. He plays the way that he has tonight for the majority of this season as Ho converts. And the and one opportunity. Now they're going to call that an offensive foul. Wave off the basket. One more look at it.
Yeah, nice look ahead, and that's a good charge taken. It's a good call outside that arc.
You have to have both feet outside the restricted arc area, which was moved out to 4 feet this year, and extending 12 inches further compared to a season ago. Again, going back to some of those rule changes. But if House plays like how he has tonight the rest of the year, Texas A&M in the SEC is going to have some serious upward mobility.
That's what Billy Kennedy told us at the shoot-around today. You know, he had said that he didn't feel like his team was clicking. And we said, well, what does your team clicking look like? He said, well, when our best player is playing his best and everybody else sort of filters around that.
Davis, the block.
Here's House. Had it stripped outside to Hogue. And the Aggies crashing the glass. It pops out to Baylor's Al Freeman, who feeds Motley. And he watches it go out of bounds. It's been that kind of night.
Sure has. Sometimes passing and catching, we undervalue it. It is a skill that has let Baylor down here tonight.
We're talking about transfers. Al Freeman originally signed at UCLA before the coaching change and then elected to go with Baylor. So we've seen a lot of that kind of movement in recent years as well. Five and a half to play here in College Station. It's been all Texas A&M. And Medford splits the defense, draws the foul. Troja Morelos pick up his second. And Medford back to the stripe. Well, this crowd was rocking earlier. The outcome was in doubt way back in the early stages of the first half. A week before holidays really get going, they were loud and proud here on Star Wars night, Chris.
Yes, they were. Well, you know, look, these are the two best teams in Texas. So, you know, this was for a title of best team in Texas. And if you don't know what that means or how much that's valued here, you need to take a trip down to College Station. It was an important game for that reason alone.
And Billy Kennedy telling us earlier today, we were just ready to play. We've been sitting around the last 48 hours. Exams are over. Graduation was yesterday, right here inside of Reed Arena. Just wanted to get back after it after a big win last weekend against Kansas State. Collins flips it up, can't connect, gathers a rebound, and gathers now with 14 boards. A foul inside. It'll go against the Bears. Jonathan Motley. And the elbow there to Jalen Jones.
Two guys tussling in that post. Jones not going to give anything up, and I think the extension of the arm is what caught the attention of the official.
Baylor shooting just 35%, 15 turnovers. Aggies took advantage early. Is there anything that Scott Drew can take away from a game like this as perhaps a teachable point these next couple of weeks before Big 12 play gets underway?
Oh. You have to come ready to play against good teams. You know, Texas A&M was shot out of a cannon to start this game. Baylor was not ready to play at all. So, you know, again, Baylor's schedule has not been great. I mean, the two good teams in their schedule, they beat Vanderbilt, they played well, they lost to Oregon. Against good teams, you have got to come ready to play, and it starts with effort.
Approaching 4 minutes to play. Prince outside to Medford. One of the few bright spots tonight for Baylor. And Caruso saves it. Such a crafty player, always in the right place at the right time.
When you watch, I'm watching him on tape to prepare for this game, and he just does so many things. If you just look at a box score, you're not going to be blown away. But he does so many. He's a throwback kind of a player.
You know, the one thing you can say, the active leader in steals in college basketball, so he's got the quick hands, was preseason second team all-conference in the SEC. Dish to Davis, who gets hammered down low. And the final media timeout coming up. Well, it's been physical at times tonight, but it's been all Aggies here in College Station. The lead is 19, 3:37 remaining. And the story's been Daniel House with 17 and 8. What a performance tonight for Texas A&M. Back inside Reed Arena, Chris Spatola, Roy Philpott on hand. Glad you could join us tonight. Yell leaders in full force. And there's been an outstanding environment, especially for mid-December. Conference play about 2 weeks out. And a statement, perhaps, just 3.5 minutes away from being concluded by Texas A&M. 4 top 10 teams have lost today. The Aggies looking to climb the rankings with a win against number 16 Baylor.
And talk about a resume. I mean, they've got some really, really good wins on their schedule. How they played down at Atlantis in that tournament really, I think, sent a message nationally.
And Chris, you got to believe, too, with Davis, with Hogue, what we've seen out of House tonight, and as Collins continues to make the transition, transferring in from South Florida, they could potentially be a lot better come March.
Well, what Davis and Collins have done is they've allowed Jones and Caruso to play at their natural positions. So you have a more natural lineup out there on the floor. I think guys feel more comfortable.
Aggies have led by as many as 29 tonight. And this score every bit indicative of actually what has transpired here inside of Reed Arena. Davis back to work, the lefty. Yes.
He's a stud. I mean, he is a stud, and he's a worker. He knows the game, he thinks the game, and he does a lot of stuff on the interior that you cannot teach.
13 points for the freshman. Ranked 27th in the ESPN 100. Proving that here tonight. Very worthy of that designation. Bounce pass, Prince, and hammered. And don't forget about the New Year's Six, 2 of the greatest days for college football fans. It all starts at noon Eastern. New Year's Eve on ESPN, then at 4 and 8, the playoff semifinal games, Oklahoma and Clemson, followed by Michigan State and Alabama. And then, of course, on New Year's Day, 3 more tremendous games to kick off 2016. All games on ESPN, streaming live on Watch ESPN. Like Oklahoma State, Ole Miss, Stanford, Iowa, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Some sensational matchups to start the new year.
You're talking about Tyler Davis. We asked Billy Kennedy, how are you going to handle Rico Gathers? He said Gathers has to feel us. Last year, he didn't feel us. He said Tyler Davis will not be afraid inside. He kind of had a smile on his face. He knew the freshman would be ready.
Prince just 5 points, averaging 15 coming in with 6 rebounds. 6th man of the year last year in the Big 12. And just has been out of sync.
He has. And really the denial of him has put Baylor's offense out of sync. They run a lot of stuff through him. Credit Daniel House, the job he's done defensively.
4 to shoot. An open look for Collins for 3. Points for Collins. Inside to Gathers. And the crowd will let the emotions flow. Well, if you're just joining us, Texas A&M shot out of a cannon, as Chris told you back in the first half, right out of the gate tonight.
Started with everything at the rim. They've out-rebounded, hustle plays, diving on loose balls, getting after it. And, you know, if this was an effort win tonight, they sent a message right from the start. That dunk right there from Daniel House got them going. It's been all Texas A&M here.
This win will end a 6-game losing streak to Baylor. This is just the 3rd all-time meeting between both teams when they've been ranked. 2 schools separated by just 88 miles. Scott Drew and company bussing in earlier this morning. And now the Aggies clear the bench as Kyle Dobbins checks in for the first time. high-energy player, directing traffic in the walkthrough this morning. Turns it over here.
Take a shot, young fella.
Really not the time for that, considering the score. Davis!
Chant from the stands. Two old rivals, the fan base here at College Station.
They've acclimated quickly to that SEC,
yes, they
haven't they?
Dobbins.
The crowd wanted that one.
Gotta get Dobbins a shot here. He's passing up open looks.
1-1 coming for Gilder. A wider wire victory for Texas A&M.
Whether Dobbins shoots or not tonight, I don't know if we can get a look at it. He's first team all mustache though.
I was waiting for the reference.
He may not get a shot, but he is first team all mustache is Dobbins. There it is. Look at that stash.
Bringing it back in style. Well, maybe not.
That's like an I lost a bet mustache right there.
Frank Byers in for the first time. Freshman out of Dallas. And Wainwright will lift for three. And about a second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. There's a foul, and Dobbins will get a chance.
The stash is going to the line for two.
Now Dobbins has played in 22 games in his A&M career, including 5 this year. He's got a couple of assists.
How long you think it takes to grow something like that? I mean, me, it's like 3 weeks on something like that. Look at that thing. Needs a Twitter handle. Dobbins stash.
Oh, and misses a pair. Fred's still in there. Shot clock is off. Big win for the Aggies tonight. Prince never got going. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Baylor. Chris, some final thoughts on what we've seen. Where does Baylor go from here? And the Aggies, obviously, this is going to be a big win going into the holidays.
You know, first of all, for Texas A&M, think about the confidence. I mean, you get a win like this right before the holiday. You got to feel good about yourself, and the depth comes through for them. For Baylor, you got to figure out, you know, unconventional ways to score, especially if you're not rebounding the way that they have. You expect on most nights, though, Taurean Prince going to give you production.
There's Frank Byers. First points of the season, the first points of his college career. And even Billy Kennedy applauds that one. Here's the schedule coming up for the Aggies. Next matchup will be against Cal Poly, December 29th, and then at the start of the new year, conference play begins. For now, the 9-2 Aggies. Baylor will drop to 8-2. New Mexico State Wednesday, Texas Southern at the end of the month. And a rough and rugged Big 12 will get underway rather quickly. And that'll do it. Our final score, Texas A&M 80. Baylor 61. For Chris Patola and our entire crew, I'm Roy Philpott. Good night from College Station. Now, let's join Brendan Fitzgerald and Adrian Branch.